gotta show off the merch.
Age.
Security number.
Hi everyone, I'm Kinza Hussein. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Boston and I'm currently doing residency in Boston as well in psychiatry, and I am a second year resident.
You ready to get to know yourself in 20 questions?
I'm ready, I think.
That's
excited.
Everyone's hesitant, I think.
Let's do this.
Welcome to the ND M.D Trivia Extravaganza. Cue the music. I'm kidding. First one, Kinza, how are you doing? But actually, how are you doing? Yeah.
Really? I'm doing good. I feel like I'm in a good place in my life. I'm happy. I have great friends and family, and the winter time is obviously a little bit more dreary, cold, and dark. Don't love winters for that reason. I don't get out as much as I'd like to, but otherwise I'm doing good.
Better now that you're done with first year residency?
Definitely. I have so much more time. I have more weekends off. I have more vacation. It's been great.
Yeah, I know residency has a way of kicking everyone's butts.
Yeah, it's really like the night call and the back-to-back weekend calls that will definitely get you pretty burnt out.
Wait, better now.
Much better now.
Good to hear.
I love to rest. I love to bed rot, and I've done some of that, so I'm doing good. My second year, I'm doing good.
Bed rotting is healthy.
Yes.
I think. Doctor's orders. What is your favorite compliment someone has given you?
Okay. I think my favorite compliment that someone's given me, so I don't know if it was more of a compliment or just something someone said that made me feel really good, but I checked in on one of my attendings, and they were like, "Oh, I was thinking about you in surgery this morning. Thanks for reaching out. How have you been doing?" And I think there was just something about someone thinking about you that was really endearing, while they're doing a surgery. You don't realize how many people's lives that you've kind of made an impression on and changed, and just like how you're thinking of people always and everything that you do, there's people out there that have been changed by you and also thinking about you. So that might be one of my favorite compliments, I guess. Just being in someone's thoughts.
What are some of your favorite things to do, and what draws you to them?
Yeah, I love to hang out with my friends. Even just catching up with you this morning was really nice. I really like to spend time with my family. So I think quality time with the people that I love is definitely one of my favorite things to do. And just laughing until our stomachs hurt. And I also really like to read and watch TV, bed rot, and get takeout food and eat in.
The second time bed rot has been brought up.
I just
in
can't
the
stop
span
saying
of
it.
5 minutes.
I just love it. I'm usually rotting on my couch instead of my bed, but it's just so relaxing.
You get one book recommendation.
Oh yeah. Okay. Just one.
Just one.
Okay. Where the Crawbirds Sing. No, that's not even the name of the book. Where the Crawdads Sing. I think that's the book that I want to recommend. Oh wait, no, can I change my answer?
Yes.
Lessons in Chemistry. Lessons in Chemistry is a book that made me laugh, cry, and contemplate life for the first time. I've never cried while reading a book before.
I thought that was the name of a textbook, I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, why are you recommending a McGraw-Hill textbook? But
never. I don't think I've ever read any of those.
Stay in school, please.
I'm more of a visual learner, so sketchy worked for me, but yeah. No, it's a book about romance, it's a book about careers, it's a book about being an independent woman and taking on life. It's about loss as well and grief. So I felt like it was very all-encompassing. It's a really good book.
What comes easy to you and not others?
I think one thing that comes really easy to me is being able to have a conversation with anyone and connecting with people. I usually am not someone who you'll have a lot of awkward silences with while getting to know me or talking to me. I would say that's one of my strengths.
I feel like as a psychiatrist, you have to be comfortable with just silence. at times.
Yeah, I do definitely stay quiet when it comes to like my patients. I let them do the talking and I hear them. But I don't know, something about like meeting new people and connecting with people. I think I do a good job at being able to kind of have a back and forth conversation with them. And I think people find it really easy to kind of share things with me and feel close with me early on. So yeah, I would say that's one thing.
I would second that. It's a very nice skill to have.
Thank you.
Who is a stranger you will always remember?
Yeah, I was actually excited to answer this question in particular when you sent me the list last night. So I have not actually met this person. So I'm a stranger to them, but they're kind of not a stranger to me because I see them not every day, but like almost every week on my commute to work. So there's this guy who walks to work, I would believe, every morning. I don't think he's going to school. I think he's going to work. And he's always on the main road walking, no matter what the weather is. It could be extremely hot outside, and he's out there walking, like drenched in sweat, or it could be pouring rain, and he's walking. And when I first noticed him, when I first started residency and started taking this commute, was he is just like, if you classify based on weight, obese. And I feel like he was walking every single day in order to lose weight. He was putting in that effort to go to work and walk. And over the last year and a half, he has lost so much weight, and he has no idea who I am, but I'm so proud of him. And like, I just think it takes a lot, no matter what the weather is, to go outside and do that commute by walking to work and showing up to work either drenched in sweat or absolutely soaked because of the rain. So I really admire that. And he has no idea who I am, but I'm always like cheering him on in the car on my way to work. I'm like, he's walking over, there he goes again, I'm so proud of you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know what his story is, I don't know who he is, but I don't even know if he's walking with the goal of losing weight, but that's something that he's doing for his health at the end of the day. It is very healthy to stay active and walk, and he's doing that, so I admire him and cheering him on.
Strangers teach you all sorts of random things, huh?
I hope he does well. I hope he's happy. Like, whoever he is, I hope he's happy, and I hope he sees the work that he's put in and the results.
What do your friends trust your advice in? And I feel like as a psychiatry resident, this is interesting.
I don't know that they take any of my advice that I give them. Why aren't y'all listening to me more? No, I'm just kidding. I think they trust my advice in ways to like protect their own peace and finding joy and happiness in their lives. Like if they're in a situation that's not serving them, I'm the type of friend who just gives very direct advice, which doesn't always land well. Like you can't tell people what to do, but it hurts me to see my friends or my family in situations that are hurting them. So I will always give them very straightforward, direct advice and tell them like if they need to leave a situation that's hurting them. And I think people come to me for that raw, honest advice rather than just kind of like, I'm not there just to validate their feelings. Like I'll do that too, but they come to me when they really need raw advice.
So you're the one that keeps it real.
Yeah, I try my best to, even though I think sometimes they don't want to hear it.
For better and worse.
Yeah, like who wants to hear the real stuff?
But sometimes you need that. Like,
exactly, and I think when they do, that's when they'll kind of reach out to me.
It takes a real friend to tell someone what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Exactly.
I've even been that way for some of my own friends, and they hate me for it. But then, like, a day or two later, they're like, you're right.
Yeah, and I mean, whether they take that advice or not, definitely, like, be supportive of them. I'm supportive of them either way. But I think it's important to have someone in your life that's, like, giving you just real advice.
If there was a book about your life, what would it be titled?
Oh, can I use a title of a book that already exists?
Yes.
It's actually right behind you. So it's a memoir by Dolly Alderton. And it's called Everything I Know About Parties, Dates, what else? Friends, Jobs, Life, and Love. I don't resonate a lot with like the beginning of this book because it goes through kind of her life as a party girl and someone who struggled with her relationship with alcohol. And I don't drink and I haven't really gone to many parties in my life. But the rest of the book talks about her close relationships with her girlfriends, It talks about her experience with love and breakups and her experience with family and just like coming of age and growing up. And I don't know, just the way she wrote about it it's in such an endearing way. I really resonated with it. So I feel like if I had to write one, it would be something like this.
I love that. We got a nice show and tell section.
Yeah.
Too. Had it on deck. Was that planned?
I'm prepared. No.
What's the first thing you think people notice about you?
Oh, I don't know. What are you guys noticing about me?
Don't ask them. Ask yourself.
I actually have gotten the feedback that I'm a little bit intimidating when people first get to know, like first meet me. And they say that like, oh, you're like a lot nicer than I thought you were. And I'm like, oh, how did I come across? So I have a feeling maybe my first impression isn't the most positive one. I was in an Uber last week, and I started talking to my Uber driver, and we were getting along really well, and he shared with me that my Uber ratings are really low. I was like, wait, what? Why are my Uber ratings low? And he was like, I don't know, maybe you're like not being nice to your drivers or you're making them wait a long time. And I'm like, I can't think of like one instance where I haven't been nice. Like I always say hi, how are you? But I do make them wait. Like I do end up like taking a minute or 5 minutes to get down to the car. I just thought that was really funny. So I think maybe the first thing people think about me is like, oh, she doesn't seem like super warm and welcoming, but I am, deep down, I really am.
I can attest to that. Is it like an RBF thing? I don't know. Maybe
It
I
might
haven't
be.
noticed that at all.
Okay, good.
I have not noticed that.
Again, that's my perception of what people's first impression might be of me. So
I think you should have a better first impression than that.
I hope so. I think so. Maybe another one would be that I'm like silly and always smiling and like keep a light mood. I don't like to be too serious around anyone really. I like to take life really easy. So that might be another one.
That's a better one.
Thanks for giving me a second shot.
Yeah. Why and why wouldn't you recommend someone to pursue your career path?
Oh yeah, so I'm in psychiatry, and I would recommend this career path to someone who really cares about mental health, not only their own mental health, but also other people's mental health, and really is a firm believer in knowing that like depression really exists, anxiety exists, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and is really invested in helping these people live more functional lives. This field is not for someone who just classifies this patient population as just crazy and classifies it as something that's not really a priority. I really do think people who take care of their mental health will take care of their physical health. You need to have the mental health there in order to take care of other things like your diabetes, weight management, anything, your hypertension, eating healthy, exercising. All of those things happen when your mental health is in a good place. So if you don't believe in it and you don't care to hear people's stories and their experiences, what they've been through, then I don't think it's the field for you.
What have people always misunderstood about you?
I guess the most recent one was my mom thinks that I'm like a serious person. My mom was like, no, you're really serious and you take life really seriously. And I was like taken aback by that because I was like, I feel like I am a really silly person, especially at home and around my family. And obviously like my family knows me best. So when my mom was like, you're really serious and you're not as like loosey-goosey as you think that you are, I was taken aback by that and I was surprised. I was like, oh, like what version of me do you see versus the version of me my friends see? So I think that was the most recent time I felt a little misunderstood because I like to be really like friendly and silly and goofy and just not take things seriously. And I actually don't like it when other people take things too seriously. So maybe I felt a little bit like insecure almost about myself being perceived that way by my mom.
Because that's something you don't want to be perceived as.
Right, and it's also not like the vibe I want to immerse myself in terms of like how other people are either. So yeah, I would say that.
What's something normal to you that other people find weird?
Oh, I must do a lot of things that people find weird. I sleep with my socks on, and I like to take them off like right before I fall asleep. But I have to get into bed with my socks on. A lot of people find that weird.
That's so oddly specific.
We'll just stick with that answer.
That's the one that you were gonna.
I think that's the one that I leave you with.
I love it.
I probably do a lot of weird things, but oh wait, actually no, I shouldn't share this. I sometimes have to make myself sneeze. Like if I feel like coming and I'm not able to sneeze, I do have to like stick my finger up my nose to make myself sneeze. Is that weird?
Like pulling the trigger for a sneeze?
Yeah, like I have to. And sneezing feels good. So sometimes I'll just like be like
This is the person everybody thinks is serious?
that's what I'm saying. My mom's gonna be so mad at me for like sharing this.
What insecurities have you grown out of?
Okay, so definitely my nose. I like used to think I had a really big nose, and maybe I do, but I've definitely grown out of that insecurity, and I really like my nose, and I love my nose ring, and it's like such a big part of who I am, and I'm not someone who's like always checking my side profile and like taking pictures of my side profile to see like how big my nose is. I don't do any of that anymore. So I've grown out of that insecurity, thankfully. I love my body like the way that it is. And even kind of like insecurity like with other things about my body I've grown out of. I don't hyper-analyze how I look in a pair of jeans anymore or how a certain shirt is fitting around my waist. So I've done a lot of body positivity work in like the last 2 to 3 years, and it's finally paying off.
Where do you think that comes from?
It definitely, oh, I know where it comes from. It comes from comments other people have made about you. Gary Vee says this. He says that try to think about like what you're insecure about and try to see if you can remember who put that insecurity in you. You didn't grow up, you were not born with that insecurity. So someone put it in your head to look at your nose a certain way or look at your waist a certain way or any other body part. And ever since then, I've been hyper-analyzing it myself. And so then it just takes some undoing to stop doing that.
What have you done that you are most proud of?
Definitely matching into my number one residency spot. I feel like growing up, I was almost like this short of achieving my goals, my academic goals and my career goals. When I was in high school, you know, I struggled in high school. I got my first C in high school, and I think it was in geometry. And when I was studying for the SATs, like I tried really, really hard to get at least a 2100. And I think I took the SATs twice, right? And I came short of that by just like, I think 10 or 20 points. And then in college, I really struggled with the MCAT. I came short of my my score goal by like 3 points. And then when I was in medical school, I studied really hard for step 1, and I came really very short actually, of my goal score. And then for step 2, I did way better on step 2, but I was still 1 point short of my score goal. I wanted a 240 and I got a 239. So when I matched into my number 1 spot for residency, I felt so elated. I felt like I finally got like what I actually wanted and didn't fall short of it.
How'd that feel?
It felt really good. Match day was the best day of my life. My family and I went up to my medical school to kind of participate in match day with everyone there, and it hands down was the best day of my life. I smiled all day long, and I even threw a match party after that weekend, and my face physically hurt from smiling at the end of the weekend. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to say I've experienced the best day of my life.
And you earned it.
And yeah, I'm proud of it.
You earned it.
Thank you.
When is the last time you cried and why?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to answer this question honestly when I first saw it there, but I was like, we'll go with the honest answer. The last time I cried, I was actually at work. I was on call, and it's funny because I'm the senior now. I'm a second year, so I'm considered the senior, and I was with my intern. And I was like, please God, like don't let my intern like knock on my call room door right now and see me absolutely like bawling while I was on the phone with my parents. I don't cry very easily anymore. I think I let everything build up and I like release it every couple months, like every 3-4 months, I guess. And that was the night, like I needed to release, and it's always with my parents. Like I have a soft spot for them, so I cry easily with them. And I'm just like bawling and bawling for like a whole hour on the phone with them. And it's funny because the topic that we were talking about was marriage. And I was just like, I can't do this.
Couldn't do this anymore.
I can't do this right now. Like, you know, growing up, I'm Pakistani, and you know, the older you get, the more pressure you have to kind of like find your person and start a family, get married, and all of these things. And it's stressful and it's scary, and there's a lot of pressure, and they're so easygoing about it. Honestly, I get no pressure from my parents on that side of things, but I put a lot of pressure on myself. So that's kind of why I was crying. I think it's a valid reason to cry.
Fair reason to cry, but not a fair reason to bottle it all up for multiple months.
No, for sure, for sure.
The psychiatrist also needs, you know, the pressure release valve.
No, for sure. We all need our outlets, and having people you can go to that you trust to kind of authentically be yourself and let it all out is so important.
What is a feeling you miss?
The first thing that came to my mind was like when we were kids and our grandfather was still with us. The feeling of being so excited to jump into bed, like me and my 3 brothers would jump into bed with him at the end of the night, and we would listen to these stories he would tell us, and they would always be like really funny stories about some kid who is always messing around with his elders and like pulling pranks and making a mess of everything. And I wish I remembered those stories better than I do now, but I just remember it would have us literally rolling on the floor laughing. And I miss that feeling of like innocence and having no responsibilities, and just like looking up to your family members so much and looking forward to spending time with them in that way. And I just remember being like so excited when it was time for bed and we got to listen to those stories. So I miss that feeling. It was for me when I started residency. I'm gonna put it in my little office. Let's go. Let's do it.
What do you think your past self would think of you now?
I think my past self would be really proud of me because my past self always felt like I was coming this short of all my goals, right? So, and I really struggled academically and even in my personal life. Like I felt like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked, what I didn't like. I was really figuring it out, and I was just kind of going with the flow and following other people rather than my own path. I did a lot of work to just try to learn who I am and stay authentic to my true self and only do things that I find joy in. So I think my past self, thankfully, would be proud of myself, and I'm always trying to do better and be the best version of myself that I can be.
I read somewhere that when you grow up, especially in kind of like your mid-20s, you become the person that younger you would have felt safe around.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true for you?
I think it's true for me, and it can be true for other people too, as long as they're putting in that work. Like it doesn't happen overnight. You know, like it has to happen because one, you want it to happen, and you have to have like good role models, and you also go to therapy and try to work through stuff about yourself that you want to improve on. It's definitely like a work in progress.
What is a dream you let go of, but it hurts?
Okay, so growing up, I always wanted to be an actress. Like I wanted to be an actress so badly for some reason. And I did share it with my parents and like my family, and I was like, oh, we need to go and like audition for this Hannah Montana episode that I remember I found like the audition for online. And they told me early on like that the industry is not a safe place for kids, and I definitely see that now. But I channeled that desire through like starting my YouTube channel, and when my first video went viral, I was like absolutely like, oh my God, like me? Like the algorithm chose me? You guys chose me? Okay. And I really enjoyed the process of creating and building like such a amazing platform with you guys. Maybe not you guys, but just like with the community in general. And being recognized by people like places I went was also a really cool experience. Like someone recognized me in Pakistan while I was there visiting my family, like at the mall. Yeah, like I was at the mall and someone recognized me at the mall, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like it's just so cool, like how many people I've made some sort of impression on. And it hurts to kind of let that dream go. At the same time, I let it go for my own happiness. I mean, it was stressful, definitely, to create and also balance residency at the same time. And it was also difficult to tap into more of my professional side at work and not be unprofessional behind a camera at home. So I did let go of kind of continuing that dream. But I'm so grateful that I got to experience it at some point in my life. Like it's a privilege to be able to reach out to thousands of people who wouldn't have met you otherwise, and who I wouldn't have met otherwise. Like who knows if I would have met the amazing Andy if I hadn't been on YouTube. So it's a privilege, and I'm so grateful to have experienced it.
Oh, thank you. And I think we all understand the pressures of being on social media, and then tack on, a doctorate, being a doctor in your community to that pressure. It's not the easiest in the entire world, and I don't blame anybody for stepping away from it. And I think it takes a lot more strength to step away.
It hurts. It does hurt. I would say it does hurt, and you miss it. You miss components of that life too. But who knows? We'll see what the future holds.
What did you think you were gonna be when you grew up as a kid?
Or the answer I gave for the last question, I thought I was gonna be an actress. I was like, I'm gonna be in a movie. I'm gonna be on a TV show. But at the same time, I have uncles and aunts who are physicians, so I did kind of grow up saying that I was going to be a doctor. So I feel like I lived kind of a straight path to this end career goal, and I definitely followed it.
Would you do it again?
I would, 100%. It was so worth it. I really love what I do, and I did go through periods in med school where I was like, I'm quitting, or like, I don't like this isn't fulfilling. But that's just because we're studying 24/7 in med school, and it definitely gets to you after four years. Yeah. But it was so worth it. I absolutely love it.
What's a question you wish you knew the answer to?
One thing I don't understand in life is how we feel drawn and connected to certain people and not others. And sometimes it has nothing to do with what they're doing for you, maybe, or what purpose they're serving in your life, or maybe you're not able to realize what purpose they're serving. But like, why is it that you have a certain like connection, like you link up like this with certain friends or in certain relationships, but you don't find that maybe in other places, even if you wanted to? Like, what is that connection, that intangible connection that you form with people?
I'm a firm believer of everybody's meant to be in each other's lives for a reason. Every connection, every interaction, it happens for a reason, even if you don't realize it at that moment.
Yeah.
Whether that is an answer to your question, I don't know.
But we don't know why certain people end up being in your life and what purpose they're gonna serve. And everyone has their own like circle of people they're going to meet, right? I'm not going to meet the same people that you're going to meet in your circle, and you're not going to meet the same people I've met in my life. And the people that you feel like a really strong connection with, I'm not going to feel that strong connection with those people, even if I did get to meet them. So why? Like, where does that come from? My cousin actually had somewhat of an answer, a theory to it. She thinks we've met the people that sometimes we meet in this life in some sort of past life, or that like our souls were connected in a way. So if you do believe in that stuff, a higher power, God, or a place we came from that wasn't Earth, she thinks that our souls may be mingled, and that's why we're drawn to certain people in this life. And maybe that's why we meet some people sometimes and we feel like we've known them forever. But it's just a theory.
Well, a counter question to that, do you have to have the answer for that, or is that part of what makes meeting people so great?
That's a good point. You don't know why, and I guess maybe searching for that reason and staying connected and trying to make things work and the joys of whatever that connection brings is what it's all about.
What are you afraid of passing down to your kids? And inversely, what is a trait of yours you hope to pass down to your kids?
I'm afraid to pass down the people-pleasing side of me. I feel like I'll do things or say things when I don't even really want to do them, just because I'm trying to please someone else, or I want them to like me, or I don't want to come off as someone who's kind of a passive-aggressive or mean person. I do this at work too. Like, I won't set good boundaries at work because I don't want to come off as a mean resident or a mean doctor, or a mean senior, like even to my interns. So I don't want to pass down people pleasing. I think that puts you in awful situations sometimes as well, like even within friendships or relationships. Something that I would like to pass down is my authenticity. I think I have a really hard time like faking anything. So I really like to just be my genuine self with everyone that I meet, and I try to give that same version of myself to everyone. I'm not like someone who just closes off and pretends to be someone I'm not.
Last thing for everyone, leave one life lesson or word of advice you wish you knew earlier.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is, it's actually a quote by one of the actresses in Sex and the City, Samantha. I don't know her real name, but she says, I do not put myself in a situation for even a second that I don't find joy in. And that really resonated with me. So I leave that with you guys. Do not put yourself in any situation, in any room, in any social setting, in any family gathering, if it doesn't bring you joy for even a second. And hopefully that'll help you find happiness in this life.
There we go.
Was that okay?
That was perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kenza. That's all I have for you. It's so nice to see you again.
So nice to see you, and thanks for including me in your series. Let me just start one more time. I promise I won't make us do too many retakes.
I just love this angle with like.
Let's talk about. Why are we nervous? Like, why is my throat dry?
Do you need water?
I'm sick.
Need your water?
Yeah, let me get my water actually. Why is this so nerve-wracking? Like, I'm in the comfort of my own apartment.
You're doing great. What's... Jeez, why am I nervous?
Andy's nervous too for some reason. It's so crazy like how it does get like more and more serious.